Mrs. Kellogg here. Welcome back to my Art at Home video series. So last we left off, you had just started your daily sketchbook. So how's that going? I hope you're practicing. But one thing to keep in mind, you remember, you want to make it a fun practice. That'll get you practicing even more. So, enough of this. Let's move on to our lesson today. So today we are going to create contour line drawings. So let me show you what we're going to use for our materials. So the first thing you want to make sure is that you have a mat or newspaper underneath your paper that you're going to use. So we're definitely going to use a paper, and you want to make sure you have a mat underneath it because we're going to use markers, and you don't want to get marker or any of the art supplies all over your mom and dad's table. That wouldn't be good. Okay, so I'm going to use a black marker to start, my white paper, and I'm going to use some colored markers with this. That's the exciting thing. Surprise, surprise, we are using color today. So you're going to have fun with that. Now, in regards to other materials, a lot of you are probably wondering, maybe I don't want to use markers. I want to use some other materials. You can. So use whatever you have. If you have oil pastels, you could use that. Colored pencils, crayons, and even if you just want to use pencil and paper, you can do that too. Okay, so now I'm going to let you get your materials, and then we'll meet back here. Okay, so I'll see you soon. Okay, does everybody have their materials? Great, let's get started. Okay, so we are going to combine two really important elements of art which we've learned about in our last few lessons. So you guessed it, we're definitely using line. Okay, the other element of art that we're going to use is shapes. So we're going to use line to make those shapes. So line and shape, we'll combine those. But what's new about line is you're going to learn how to make what's called a contour line. So notice it's kind of this nice flowing line. So I'm going to show you how to make them right down here. So I'm going to start from here and just watch my hand. Okay, I'm going to stop there. And maybe I'll do another one like so. Did you notice when I was making the line what I was doing? You're absolutely right. Yes, I wasn't lifting my marker off the page. So that's that nice flowing contour line. It's a continuous line. We're not lifting your art tool off the page. Okay, so that's different than if I did a sketchy line like this. Can you see that? Yeah, and a broken line, right? So again, contour line is going to be this nice flowing line. Okay, so now I'm ready to start my contour line drawing. So, and I'm going to make a fun design. Okay, so again, if you look, this was an example that I did earlier. And so see how I'm just flowing along the page. So this is very calming, very relaxing. Okay. Now, the fun part of this is what a lot of artists do with contour line is sometimes they'll do what's called a contour, it's called a blind contour line practice. And this is a lot of fun because it's blind contour, which means I'm going to close my eyes and make all these fun lines. Okay, so now I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to make my design that way using that contour line drawing. So you're just going to have to trust me. I know you can't see my eyes, so you're going to have to trust me that my eyes are closed. Okay, So now I'm going to start at one edge of the end of the paper. I'm going to try to fill my page with some nice big swooping lines. Oh, I saw my page moved a bit. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Okay, so, you know, whatever you're comfortable with, you can try that. It's fun closing your eyes and doing this curvy contour line. But if you want to keep your eyes open, you can do that. But one hint I want to give you is this. Okay, when you do this, if you're closing your eyes, and even if you're not, when you start making these contour lines, and I'm going to go a little quicker now. If I keep doing this, and I keep going, like I get so relaxed, and I'm in a daydream, and I just keep going, and I keep going, and I keep going, and I'm going line over line over line. Well, that might end up being a cool design, but if I keep going, and keep going, and keep going, and keep going, do you see? To be honest with you, I got a hot mess on my hand because where am I going to put the color? I put too many lines. So you don't have to just keep going over it and over it and over it like that. You can just do it for a little bit and get these nice, fun, big shapes in there. Okay, so I am now going to let you get started to create your own original design, and then we're going to meet back here, and then we're going to add color. Okay, did everybody finish their design? Okay, so now you have your design finished. So it's time to introduce our next element of art, which is color. So we're going to focus on color. Now, when artists are choosing color and they're adding color, what they think about is a color pattern. So that's what I want to talk to you about right now before we get started. So artists look at color in a lot of different ways, but one really important thing they think about is how can they get their design to stand out when they use color. So what they think about, if you notice, I chose only two colors, so yellow and purple. So notice the yellow next to the purple. That's right, the yellow's lighter than the purple, so that helps it to stand out. So what we're going to do when we add our color is we want to put a light color next to a dark color. Now, what you're going to try not to do is put, for example, yellow next to yellow or purple next to purple, because I'm going to just show you what happens when I do that. So say I do this, I've got a little shape here, I've got a little shape here, and I'm going to use purple. And I start coloring that in. And what you're going to notice is my shapes disappear because I put two dark colors next to each other. Or same thing happens if you put the same colors. So now, maybe you hear my dog Olive in the background. She agrees. Okay. So again, think of that light color next to a dark color. Now, since I didn't want to put yellow next to yellow or purple next to purple, I left some white. So think about that when you're creating your color pattern. You may need to, or you may want to use the white of the paper. Okay, see how that's really light, and that's kind of more a medium color shade, and that's my really dark one. So again, when I do that, I get my design to stand out more when I'm using that idea of that light dark color pattern. Now you might be going, that looks good, Mrs. Kellogg, but how do I figure that out again? So say I'm using crayons, for example. and I choose my colors. So say I want to use red. And then look what happens when I put the yellow next to it. Do you see how that's lighter next to a darker color? So that's really going to stand out. And even if I add a third color in there, put them all together, and you'll notice yellow's lighter than orange. Orange is lighter than red. So that's going to work. But look at what happens if I do this. This is a different color, but look at how close that is. So that means this is going to happen. My shapes are going to go goodbye. So that's why artists, when they think about color, they think of it in a pattern, and they think of it as a light, dark pattern. Now I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to just choose 2 colors. But if you want to choose that idea of 3 colors, like, you know, for example, you don't have to choose the same colors, but light, medium, dark, you can do that. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a couple of hints with this. So say I decide for my 2 colors, I'm going to use orange and blue. So see how the orange is lighter than that blue. So maybe what I'm going to do is, I got to twist this one off. When I'm working on doing edge work, what a good thing to do is, what I like to do is kind of outline my edge first, because I don't want it to mix in with the color next to it. And turn your paper as you work. You know, sometimes that really helps with the angle in there. So see how now I trace the inside of that. So then I get a nice, as our artists call this, a clean edge. Okay, now I'm ready to go to town and get that all colored in. Okay, so I'm kind of doing this quicker, and you can relax and take your time. You know, you could even work a little bit on it, take a break, and then come back to it another time. So decide what works for you. Okay, so now I might leave that white. But then here, I don't want to put orange because goodbye shapes. So now I'm going to come in with that blue. And I'm going to continue on. See how I kind of trace the inside? And that helps me get more control over whatever art tool I'm using when I do that. And so that's really very helpful. And then you just keep going. So now, if you decide you're not using color, which is totally fine, and you want to use just marker, pencil, and the white of the paper, here's another idea for you. And see how this is lighter? That's more of my medium shade going to my darker shade. This is dark and that's light. I did a light next to light, but that dark line separating it. So you can think about that. And if you only have a pencil, that's going to be a lot of fun because you're going to experiment with the pressure of the pencil. So look, so you might want to hold it this way, which we had learned different ways of holding the pencil in that first lesson. See my pointer finger, my thumb, and look at this. See, now I can press really hard and get it darker. Then maybe I'm going to go a little bit, oops, I'm going to move this down. I'm going over some bumps here. That's going to be a little lighter. But see, the pressure can get you that dark medium. See if I put this in a little rectangle, see how that's, here's my light, here's my medium, here's my dark. So that's another option. Okay. So, and I just wanted to show you just this little piece of art to inspire you. And notice, see how that's darker, that's lighter. This is a little darker. That's more your kind of toward your medium. So I recommend just using 3 colors. You know, it's hard for me because I can go color crazy just like you guys, but if you start off with 2 to 3 colors and the white of the paper, it's easier to learn that idea of color pattern, light next to dark. So that's a fun thing. So again, that's kind of my light, my medium, and dark idea. You know, using the pencil there. Here's the color idea. So these are only 2 colors plus white. And then my last idea to leave you with is, if you make this design and you see something in it and you want to make it into something, you can. So this one looked like a funny face to me, so then I added the eyes and the ears. But again, I'm still doing that idea of the light next to dark, and I'm leaving some of the white. I'm also adding black. Notice the black is darker than that blue. So I'm always thinking color pattern, repeating my colors and thinking that idea of light next to dark, or light, medium, and dark. Just don't want to put dark next to dark because goodbye shapes. Okay, so have fun with color. And when we return to school, I can't wait to see all the artwork that you've created. Well, that's it for today's lesson. Remember, relax, have fun, and keep creating.